What is really good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Nerd Corner. Nerd Corner is your boy Lotus Sakura, the kid who never ever knows best. And in today's video, we're talking about my favorite protagonists from shonen anime. Now, I gotta preface this with a couple of things. First and foremost being this is actually a tag video started by my homie Jordan, a kid named Jack. Link to his channel is in the description down below. Definitely go check him out, show him some love. But this is a video that he made over 2 months ago, and for some reason I never saw it. He tagged me in it and I must have missed it somehow, and I recently saw it and I was like, yo, this is actually a really fun, dope idea. I want to hop on board, so here I am making this video. Now, what exactly is this video gonna be? Well, essentially he's come up with a list of 10 protagonists from shonen anime, and you're supposed to rank them in order of what you like the least of to who you like the most. Now, bear in mind a few things. Number one, this is just my opinion. If you have your own opinion, if you think differently, feel free to leave your own top 10 list in the comment section down below. Number two, this is not a list in order of who's the strongest, who's the weakest, who's the smartest, fastest, anything like that. When it comes to their abilities, it might play a factor into how much I like them, but this is not ranking them in order of who's stronger than who. All 10 of these characters are listed in the description down below if you want to feel free to take a look at them and order them in the way that you would see fit. But we're gonna get into my top 10, and coming in at the very bottom we have Luffy from One Piece. Up next at number 9 we have Saitama from One Punch Man. Now, don't get me wrong, I like One Punch Man a lot. Like, I think the series is really funny and I have enjoyed what I've read of the manga, which is like the first 9 volumes. I'm several volumes behind. But when it comes to Saitama as a character, I don't dislike him, and I don't dislike any of the characters on this list, so I'm gonna try not to repeat that too many times. I don't dislike any of these characters, but I just like some more than others. But Saitama is not my favorite character in his series, and a lot of these characters aren't my favorite character in that series, which is why they are placed at certain spots on this list. But Saitama, he's entertaining, he's funny, but I don't think he's particularly cool. I mean, he has very badass moments, right? I mean, when he gets serious and he goes in for a fight, it is dope. It's really cool. It's really entertaining. But I'm just not super fond of him. I'm not. One of the things that appeals to me a lot about a character is their character design, and obviously, One Punch Man is a parody series, and Saitama's meant to look a little goofy, with the cape and the jumpsuit and the bald head, and it's a parody and all that, and that's cool. That's fine. I can get with that. But in terms of how much I like a character, it doesn't make me like the character of Saitama a whole lot, especially not when you have other characters on this list who I think aesthetically are just a lot more badass, just a lot cooler. So Saitama, while I do like him, he comes at the number 9 spot on my list because I think characters like Speeder, Sun, Sonic, and Genos are just a lot more badass and look a lot cooler than he does. Coming in at number 8, we have Naruto from, of course, Naruto. Now, it's funny because Naruto Uzumaki is not probably even in my top 10 favorite characters in the series, and that's not to say that he's a bad character. In fact, if you would have asked me a few years ago, I would have argued that Naruto is one of the greatest shonen protagonists to have ever been seen in anime or manga. I felt like he was such an inspirational and motivational character, super iconic, and just he had all his character development. He grew so much and he accomplished so many things and did everything that he set out to do. But I feel like towards the end of Naruto, his character kind of was thrown away and tossed to the side. Like, it kind of got thrown in the gutter. I don't want to go into spoilers for anyone who is, for whatever reason, has never finished Naruto, but I just feel like they did something with his character, that kind of tossed everything that he accomplished up till that point down the drain, right? Like, he fought so hard to achieve all these things, and then something happened. We get some reveals, and it's kind of like, Kishimoto, what are you doing? So with that said, it makes me like his character less, and even before that happening, he still wasn't in like my top 10 favorite characters in the series, but I still don't think he's a bad character. I mean, he's very likable for obvious reasons, but not particularly cool. I mean, personally, I'm an Uchiha fanboy, so characters like Itachi, Madara, Sasuke, those are my favorite characters in the series, but it is what it is. So Naruto comes in at number 8. Again, not a bad character. I don't dislike him at all by any means, but I'm not super fond of him either. Up next at number 7, we have Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist. Now, there aren't many protagonists on this list that are actually my favorite character in their series, but when it comes to Full Metal Alchemist, Edward is actually my favorite character in this series. And my second favorite character is actually Major General Armstrong, because, oh boy, have you seen them lips? Have you seen... Major General Armstrong is thick, boy. But that's a video for another day. But yeah, Edward Elric, he's pretty cool. He's funny. I think he's got a dope design. I think he's pretty badass when he gets in the fights. Edward Elric is a cool guy, man. I love his story. I love his character and the way he gets super triggered over the short jokes and stuff like that. I think he's really funny. I don't have a whole lot to say, whether it be positive or negative about Edward, but I do like his character a lot, and he makes his way at the number 7 spot on my list. Coming in at number 6, we have Gon Freaks from Hunter x Hunter. Now, let me tell you about that boy Gon. I was actually surprised with how much I enjoyed his character and just how dope of a character he actually is, because he's pretty intelligent for one, which I honestly was not expecting, and he's not nearly as naive as I was expecting to be either. The thing that's interesting about Gon's character is that he's not as cookie cutter as we see so often in shonen anime nowadays, where, you know, we have this main protagonist who's really strong for no real reason, and they're kind of dumb and they're really oblivious in a lot of situations, and Gon's not really like that. And that's not to say that he doesn't have his own childlike moments or he gets into situations where he doesn't really understand, because there are things like that, especially when it comes to Nen and explanations behind that. You can see him like steaming from the ears and he's not quite understanding all these concepts, but there are also times where he seems to be like the smartest amongst his group of friends, where he figures out situations first, where he comes up with answers and solutions to problems faster than anyone else, or at least comes up with the best idea. And we've seen that in multiple scenarios, like during the Hunter exam, multiple times we get to see Gon actually be like the brains in the group and figure things out. Now, with that said, Gon isn't my favorite character in Hunter x Hunter. That actually goes to Killua, but Gon is actually probably in my top 3 favorite characters in the series. He might even be my number 2. I don't know. I like Chrollo a lot. There's a couple other characters that I really enjoy, like Meruem as well, because who doesn't like Meruem? He's a really amazing villain. But yeah, Gon Freaks, really dope protagonist, like him a lot. Although there is another protagonist from a series that was also done by Yoshihiro Togashi that makes his way on this list, and he's higher up, as you might imagine. So yeah, spoilers low key, but we will get to that when we get to that. But yeah. Coming in at number 5, we have Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach. Now, I actually haven't read a whole lot of Bleach. I've never finished the series, and I haven't seen that much of the anime either. I've only ever read 24 volumes of the manga, which is like a third of the series, because that covers like the Soul Society arc and a few volumes of the Arrancar arc. There's what, like 74 volumes in Bleach? So yeah, and I've only seen, you know, scattered episodes of the anime here and there, like randomly maybe on TV back in the day and so have you. So my opinion of Ichigo is only going to be based off that, but based off what I have consumed from the Bleach series, I'd like Ichigo as a character a lot. Now, again, he's not my favorite character in the series. I'm kind of partial to some of the Arrancar that we've met, like Okiora and Grimmjow. I think they're really cool characters, but Ichigo is really dope, and I relate to him for a lot of reasons. When it comes to like our familial situation, how we have these younger siblings that we have to look out for, we both have loving fathers who can be pretty goofy, so it's kind of cool. So there's just a lot of qualities that Ichigo has that I really appreciate and admire, and that I can relate to. And he reminds me a lot, again, of another character who's going to make their way on this list, and I feel like Ichigo was inspired by that character. But again, I can't say too much on it because we'll get to that when we get to that. But Ichigo Kurosaki is a really cool character, really dope design, by the way, incredible fashion sense. I swear Taitai Kubo really just wanted to be a fashion designer, because Ichigo has some really stylish outfits when it comes to a lot of these cover pages, and even some of his designs in the actual story itself. But when you look at these, like the back of the volume covers and some of these like title pages and chapters and like full spreads or whatever, Ichigo's rocks are pretty dope outfits, so that appeals to me a lot, because y'all know how I am about aesthetics and fashion and style and all that. So he gets a lot of bonus points in my book. Coming in at number 4, we have Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia. Boy, I enjoyed this series a lot, man, and it was one of those series that like I thought was pretty good when it started. I wasn't infatuated with it, but I liked it a decent amount. But the more the series goes on, the more I see of the anime, the more the manga goes on, I'm just liking it more and more and more. It just keeps getting better and better. And one of those reasons is because following the story of Izuku and seeing how similar he is to a character like Naruto, but without a lot of the faults that Naruto had in his character in terms of like his development. It's great because we see Izuku, he's similar to Naruto in a lot of ways, where he's basically starting from ground zero, right? He's talentless, he doesn't have a quirk, right? But he has these dreams, these aspirations of being like the #1 hero. It's similar to Naruto wanting to be the Hokage. And one of the things I think that Boku no Hero does well and that Izuku does well is that instead of just like taking or like stealing from what's popular in shonen, it learns from what's been popular and successful in shonen series like Bleach, like Naruto, like I was gonna say Fairy Tail, but maybe Fairy Tail wasn't the best example, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like Boku no Hero is one of those series that, while it may not be the most unique or the most original, it really shines in execution. And I feel like the execution of Izuku's character is top notch, right? We're following this journey of watching him grow from somebody who's weak and powerless to somebody who's getting stronger and stronger, is protecting his friends, and is just developing as a character both mentally and physically and even emotionally as well, because we see him as like a crybaby near the beginning, and even though he still cries a decent amount, it's not even anywhere near as bad as it was in the beginning of the series. So it's really cool to see. I like Izuku a lot. He's really strong, he's really cool. I like his design. I even like his hero costume. It looks kind of goofy, but I don't know, there's something about it that I like a lot. And Izuku's not my favorite character in My Hero. That would go to Todoroki, and then even second place goes to Bakugo. But Izuku is probably my third favorite character in the series, and for good reason. So that's why he makes his way at number 4 here on my list. Up next at the third place spot, we have Light Yagami from Death Note. Boy, What can I say about Light Yagami? First of all, the man is a genius, right? And that's something, that's a trait, that's a quality that I really admire in characters, especially in the shonen series, because intelligence is something that we usually don't celebrate as much as strength, right? Because a lot of these shonen series, they're battle manga, they're adventure manga, right? So it's all about who's stronger than who can do the most damage, who can beat up who, right? But Death Note's not a battle anime, right? It's not a battle manga. It's more of a, well, you could call it a battle, but it's more of a mental battle. It's not a battle of strength, it's a battle of wits. You have this game of like chess, this cat and mouse of Light and L chasing each other and trying to outwit each other and you know, outsmart each other with the different moves that they make. And just seeing the way that Light just calculates everything and all the different moves he makes and the steps he takes and all the precautions that he does, it's really incredible, and it's really cool and really intriguing and really engaging. And even though Light's a sociopath, I think he's a really cool character, and I feel like the intelligence that he has is something that we don't often see in shonen series, especially not from the main character. Something that we've only seen the likes from somebody like him or like Lelouch from Code Geass, who by the way is also another incredible character, and I like him even more than Light, but that's another video for another day once more. But yeah, man, Light Yagami, really cool character, really smart, and that's one of the things that I like most about him. Really charismatic, and just seeing all the moves that he makes throughout the series of Death Note is really dope. So he makes his way at number 3 on my list. And now we make our way to the top 2, and runner-up, coming in at number 2, second place on this list, is Goku from Dragon Ball. Now, it is very crucial, very important that I note that when I say Goku, I'm referring specifically and only to Kid Goku from the original Dragon Ball series, prior to Z, before Raditz, before any of that. Because personally, I prefer Kid Goku more than any other version of Goku. Before all the Super Saiyan, before the Kaioken, before Raditz, Frieza, Cell, Boo, before any of that, I like Kid Goku when he was a kid. Well, obviously, I like Goku when he was a kid, right? I think he's really funny. I think he's really cool. I don't know, man. It helps that I, of course, discovered Dragon Ball as a kid, and then as a kid, I obviously related to characters who were also kids, characters who were younger, closer to me in age, because that made me think that they were really cool. And seeing like this little like runt beat up all these adults and kill off all these characters who's supposed to be so much stronger and bigger than him, I really admired it. Now, Kid Goku still shares like a lot of traits and qualities with his adult form, but the thing is, like, a lot of those are inexcusable as an adult. Like Goku still being as naive as he was as a kid, and even showing signs of like regressing it and being even more naive or more irresponsible than he was when he was younger. It makes me like Goku less and less as a character. And that being said, Goku is actually one of my least favorite characters in Dragon Ball at this point. Like as we continue to watch Super, like I just constantly hope that Goku loses, like, and he won't, of course, because he's the main character. But like, let's say the Tournament of Power, for instance. I won't go into spoilers at all about that if you're not up to date, but let's just say in that tournament that's going on, like, I really would love it if Goku was to get eliminated, but we know it's probably not going to happen. But I would have loved for him to be like the first member of like Team Universe 7 to get eliminated. Of course, that's never going to happen, and even if he did lose, there'd be some way of him managing his way back in somehow or another, whatever. He'd still be the one saving the day in the end. But I don't like Goku as a character anymore, and it's such a shame, because as a kid he was my favorite character in the series, and to this day his kid version is still one of my favorite characters in all of anime and manga. But it is what it is. I also just feel like Kid Goku was funnier, and obviously there's some gags that he did when he was younger that he can't do now as an adult, because it's just, for one, it wouldn't swing on TV, and two, it just wouldn't be as funny or like cutesy. Because like, let's take for instance the Pat Pat, and if you don't know about the Pat Pat, well, you need to go ahead and rewatch or reread the original Dragon Ball, or just watch it or read it for the first time if you never have. Because if you don't know about the Pat Pat, you need to go find out about the Pat Pat. But if you know about the Pat Pat, then you know what I'm saying when it comes to the Pat Pat. But yeah, like, he can't do that anymore as a grown man, right? Like that just would not fly for multiple reasons. But as a kid, you know, it's really funny. And there's just other gags and stuff that he did when he was younger that that just wouldn't work now. And so I just feel like as a character, when it comes to like, you know, comedy and being funny, he was a lot better off when he was younger. But yeah, I could go on and on about how much I like Kid Goku more than his adult version, but we don't have to go on for too long. But yeah, coming at the number 2 spot, we have Goku from Dragon Ball. And now we have made our way to the top of the list, coming in at the number 1 spot, first place for my favorite protagonist out of all these characters on this list. We got my boy, my man, my dog, Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. You already knew what it was, boy. If you've seen the description and you saw that his name was on the list, if you caught on to what I said about, you know, Hunter x Hunter and Togashi and other protagonists, or maybe you caught on to what I was saying about Ichigo and Bleach, you already knew Yusuke was on this list, and you probably were fairly certain, knowing who I am, that he was going to be number 1 on the list, boy. And how could he not be? Yusuke is one of the OGs of this shit, man. He's one of the illest, most savage, most badass MCs to ever be in an anime or a manga series, man. He was one of the OG delinquents, one of the OG bad boys of this shit, man. He really started like all of this, man. And oh my god, I remember younger, right? I remember back in the day watching Toonami and Adult Swim and seeing Yu Yu Hakusho and seeing Yusuke on screen and just thinking like how cool he was. He was one of those characters who I originally thought was just so cool, just badass. The way he just didn't like school and just the way he talked to people. And he was one of the first like anime characters who I would hear like cuss. He would say like damn and ass and hell and stuff like that. And I just thought he was so cool because as a little kid, because like I was seeing like this I didn't know it was anime at the time, but seeing this cartoon character cuss and just be a savage and just to be a delinquent in school and getting into all these fights and just beating all these people up, man. Oh, Yusuke is just so cool as a character, man. That if I just look at him, emotional. I get so emotional every time I talk about Yu Yu Hakusho or Fooly Cooly because those are my two favorite series of all time. If you didn't already know, but Yusuke, man, seeing him grow and develop as a character, both physically and mentally, and as well as emotionally. And I think I said the same thing for Izuku earlier on, but the same holds true. We see Yusuke start off as like this bad boy delinquent who pretends like he doesn't care about anybody, although we know that he has that soft spot for Keiko. And we see them grow, and we start to see a little bit of the relationship develop, between them as the series goes on. Not too deep because this ain't no romance series, but the relationship does develop a little bit, and we see the way Yusuke changes his opinion of Genkai over the course of this series and everything that goes on with that. And we just see how stronger he becomes throughout the whole show, and it's just Yusuke is just such an amazing character and definitely one of my favorites and easily my favorite protagonist on this list. And even though he's not my favorite character in the series, you guys know, obviously, as you can see, my favorite character is Kurama, in case you couldn't guess that. Yusuke is really, really high up there and really close. He's like it's like a sliver of a hair as to how much lower Yusuke is compared to Kurama. And I like Kurama for a multitude of reasons, but Yusuke is by no means a bad character, and he's definitely worthy of being a favorite character in that show or in anime or anything. Yusuke is so dope to me. Not to mention that the Spirit Gun, oh man, that's one of the coolest attacks in anime to me. That's one of my favorite techniques of all time, bro. And I'm such a fanboy for Yu Yu Hakusho, so I just have so many reasons as to why I put Yusuke as number one on this list. But I don't think I need to explain myself too much. Y'all knew this was coming, right? Y'all already knew what it was, and he's probably in the thumbnail as well, so you probably assumed that by this point, if you made it this far before I even got to number one, you knew he was gonna be number one. So it is what it is, man. Yusuke Urameshi. Shout out to Kuwabara one time for the one time. But yeah, man, so that has been my 10 favorite, or not necessarily my 10 favorite, but the 10 protagonists that Jordan picked out that I like in order from the least to the most, with Luffy being at the bottom, Naruto and Izuku being somewhere in the middle, and Ichigo being like, I think right there at number 5, and then Yusuke Urameshi claiming that number 1 top spot. So as I said before, just bear in mind that this is just my own personal opinion, and again, by all means, feel free to leave your own list in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, you can stay tuned for all the awesome content I'm bringing you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all I have today, and remember, nothing can happen till you swing the bat. Later.